to get my eyebrows done a few days ago, and things just kept going wrong that day. And then I finally get there, and it's a place I've been to. It's all normal and fine. And go there, and she's like, "You haven't filled out the form," which, by the way, I've never filled out, and I've always gotten my eyebrows done. So I was like, "No problem, I'll fill it." She's like, "I'll email you a link," and I was like, "Okay." She emails me, and then I click the link in the email, and it's like, "Do you have an account? Sign in." And I was like, "What the frickin' heck?" So I was like, "Do I have an account? I don't know." And I tried signing in with Google, didn't work. So I was like, "Create an account." So I was like, "Fine." Put in my name and email, and it was like, "Put your phone number." And I was like, "To get my eyebrows waxed?" So I was like, "Fine, maybe they're gonna like send appointment reminders, whatever." Put in my phone number. So then it takes me to the form, and the form is like, put in your date of birth, put in your address, put in your gender. And I was like, "What the who do you think you are?" Why would I put my address and date of birth? Are you crazy? They don't even offer like, "Oh, it's your birthday free eyebrow wax." What are you talking about? So I just put like NA for everything, but it was like a required field. Why is gender required? Get out of here. I was like, I was kept getting angrier. But like the last page of the form, totally fine. It was like, it was asking about allergies. It was asking about like if I use any skin things. So totally required for like, they're trying to see if the wax will like have a reaction with your skin. That should be the only page of the form. I guess they're like, and then they made me sign, whatever. It's fine. I do all of that. Then I go get it done. She kind of rushes. And it's also like a new person. And then I looked in the mirror, and she was like, "Is it fine?" And I was like, "Yeah, can you make it just like a little bit thinner?" And she was like, "Yeah." And she did it. And then I looked in the mirror, and I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." She sits down, and I like, I don't know, clean up extra hair, and I go home. And I get home, and I look in the mirror. I was like, "Oh, I don't like this." And I like was like on the verge of tears, because like just things kept going wrong. I can't even remember them now because I handled it in the moment. And I looked in the mirror, and I was like, "Oh." And I was like, "You know what, I'll fix it with like tweezers." And I was like, "What is the point of paying money for a service if at the end of the day I will be doing it myself anyway?" And I was so upset. And I was like, "Oh," I was so upset. I was so angry. And I was like, "I hate this. This is my face. You know, I have to look at it every day." And I'm like upset that I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And then I fixed it, and it was getting better. And then I over fixed it, and then it got worse. And I was like, "Oh, this is way worse than it began with." And then I was like, "Really hate it now." And I was like, "No, I hate everything in the world." And then I was like, I was like looking in the mirror because I'm looking at my eyebrows. And I was like, "Hold up, is this who I want to be? No, is this who I am? Not even who I want to be." I was like, "Is this who I am? Am I someone who like looks in the mirror and cares about a bad eyebrow wax?" And I was like, "No." Because actually, I've thought about this. I was like, what if I get a crazy haircut? Like I asked for a crazy one, like super short, like pixie cut or something like that. The risk is that it'll look bad. But then I'm like, it's gonna grow out. It's fine. And I was like, whoa, like I think I'm chill enough now to do that, right? Because I'm like, it doesn't matter what I look like. It doesn't matter what anyone looks like. Because it's just for like beauty. It's for like attracting what? A mate or something? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's just like, again, like life is so short. It doesn't matter. These kind of things. You gotta go for the risk, right? So I was like, okay, if that's true, here I am looking in the mirror going like, I hate my eyebrows. It's eyebrows. And it was like, look at my eyebrows. They're looking fine. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because you're probably looking and you're like, what's wrong? It's like a slightly different shape than I normally get, I think. And I did have to change it a little bit. I guess I should have done like before and after. Whoa, that's a sick idea. I'll do that next time. Um, but yeah, and anyway, I looked in the mirror and gave myself like a reality check, and I was like, "Is this who I am?" And then I started laughing, and I was like, "No, no, that's not who I am." Even if like who I am actually, this is the truth, is that even if she had like accidentally waxed half of my eyebrow off, I'm someone who would have been like, you know what, it's a mistake. Truly, don't worry about it. Like if she was like freaking out and being like, "Oh my, I'm so sorry," like I don't know, and I'd be like, whatever. It's a beauty thing. You know what I mean? Am I that person? Yeah, like I think I'd be upset, sure. What if it never grows out or whatever the fuck? But it's a cool story, I guess. It's like part of my life, right? I guess like the only time that I'm like upset, or the only reason I'm upset in these kind of moments is like that for that short while is because I'm like, it should have gone a different way. But if I remove that, if like it was always meant to be a part of my life to go this way, and I was also thinking like, you know how we like color our hair, like we dye our hair black to not show signs of aging, like if we're getting white hair or something, or like we'll get Botox or remove wrinkles, and we'll like, yeah, get plastic surgery or things like that. I'm not judging, like do what you need to do, but I think, I mean, obviously this is true, and like it's known that like all of that, it stems from in- insecurity in some way, because society is not built to accept us as we are. Okay? But can you imagine what a beautiful utopia it would be if like we didn't care what we look like, or like if it was not a concept, if like we didn't have like mirrors or something. Do you know what I mean? If it was like truly not important, and then like we only like we would care what we look like in the sense that like, oh, we're dressing differently because we all express ourselves differently or something like that. It's a true form of expression, instead of maybe some sort of insecurity or fear that we won't be accepted as we are, right? Right? Cuz then here's what I was thinking is like, if like let's say I got a scar on my face, or like she waxed off half of my eyebrows, it would be like, and and they never grew back the same. It would be like a part of my story. Like you could look at my face and know a bit more about my life. You would know more about my story, you know. And I think we're like almost slowly erasing it. We're erasing our lives and our stories, and like our essence, our lived experience, which shows on our bodies and our faces. We're like erasing it essentially, or like, I don't know, things like cellulite, or things like, you know, anything, stretch marks, things like on our bodies that like are not accept, accepted in society as much as they should be, whatever. How, like, just how good would it be if like everyone was uniquely different, and all of those differences indicated some, you know, lived experience of their life. Or like even something like genetics, even something like you got to know them, you know what I mean? You could look at someone and be like, their ancestors look like that. How sick, how cool. Just a freaking utopia. Is if like you could look at people without judgment and go like, look how different people are, and like it's about their lived experience. Maybe one day we'll get there for our future generations.